Well, colleagues, good morning, and once again, you are welcome back to another lesson on the Compass project, and it is remedial lessons. This lesson will take us through how to do effective and efficient recording of remedial lessons activities, especially regards to baseline, midline, endline assessment, and do correct analysis of results, both within the school and also during the meeting with the General Assembly members. So basically, at the end of this presentation, it's expected that stakeholders will be well equipped on how to record assessment results and do effective analysis during stakeholder engagement. Right. My name is Sapon Collins, and I'll be your presenter for this particular activity. All right. So you'll be having a template like this, an Excel template like this, right? And the template or has worksheet and work it's a workbook and has worksheet in them. The first worksheet will be for input. So this gives you opportunity to enter the serial number, the names, the sex or gender of each of the people from basic 1 up to basic 6. Then determine the age, then the grade of each people, then baseline score, you enter them here, and levels placed based on the criteria, you indicate them here. You do likewise also for the midterm and the end line records. All right. Now you have been able to successfully enter all the records for all the peoples in your school from basic 1 to basic 6. Remember that this Excel, as was given, has data for basic 1, basic 2 results that has been analyzed because there has been some functions already queued in the template already. So all that you need to do in your school is to enter the records, the assessment records, whether being it a baseline or midterm, end line, enter them. Then you can utilize the opportunity for the information on each of the class to do your analysis in your school. All right. So information here gives us a summary for basic 1. Okay. So what I'm going to do is that I will take you through what the information as provided for the for basic 1, and you continue with basic 2 up to basic 6. All right. So once you finish with the entry at the input form, you do not have to change or alter any character here or word or letter or number or figure here, right? So you just have to observe and then make your analysis, and then the inferences will follow. This is data for basic 1. So we should expect what basic 1 or primary 1 over here. But remember, you were told that in the baseline assessment test, you use the mathematics test tools or instrument. You use the same test instrument for the end line or midline assessment. Okay, so whatever test instrument you use for the baseline, you are using the same for for the end line assessment. You are not going to change it con, uh, or write a different question for the end line assessment, right? So after conducting and entering the values or data for each of the peoples, then this will be information for analysis. Here it gives us information for baseline and also for endline, because we only have conducted baseline and endline assessment as far as this school is concerned. We are able to identify the average out of 20. So this gives us clear indication that during the baseline assessment, the average of the learners in basic 1 was 11.5. That is, the average score was 11.5. On the other hand, the endline was 12.5. And you can find out the difference or the variations to get um, the marginal increase or decrease. Here you can see that there was a marginal increase of 1. All right. Then we also have average of 100 over here. This will guide us during pictorial analysis. Correct answers rate refers to the number of questions that the pupils had correct as against um, the total number of questions that were set for the learners multiplied by 100%. So clearly, this figure here indicate that during the baseline, about the correct answer rate was 57.6% during the baseline, and the end line 62.6%. And the variation, as you know, we have is about 5. Yeah, it's 5, right? 5% over here. That it shows that there has been an marginal improvement, because here about 57.6% was correct, indicating that about 32.4% of the learners had the questions what wrong in basic 1, right? But here there has been an improvement up to 62.6. It goes on. Then we can also deduce the average by gender male. What was the average performance for males? And this was calculated by adding all the scores for the boys in basic 1, because we are using data or records for basic 1, right? So data for basic 1 is what 59 for, as far as males is concerned, 59.6. Female was 55.4%. So here too we can find out the variation between the males and the female. Okay, and then compare it to that of the inline assessment and see whether there was an improvement or otherwise. Then the decision can be taken. The maximum score also gives us information on what was the maximum score, marks scored by learners or pupils during the baseline assessment. So here it was 16, 19, and the airline it was for 20. So clearly you will see that there is just um, an improvement over the baseline of 1. The variation is 1 here. The minimum score here is also 1. That means a child, the minimum mark scored by a people was 1, and during the airline it was 2. The median, after arranging all the marks in ascending or descending order, you will see that we have 6 and 7 here. All right, that's showing what a marginal increase. Right. So having done these extrapolations and inferences, and analysis, you can proceed to identify, find out the level of progression of the pupils according to their levels. And you see that during the baseline, okay, level 1, there were about 14 learners who or pupils who were placed in level 14. Then in level 2 there were 6, all, and in level 3 5, all making what 25 pupils in as enrollment in um, basic 1 or P1. There was no assessment for midterm, but the end line you could tell that most of there was no, after the end-line assessment, no child was placed in level 1 because of their level of improvement. Now we have about 25 pupils in level 2. All right. Now let's look at the pictorial analysis. Okay, before we do that, let's look at how many percentage and how many number of people who scored more than 70% or less. So here it gives us information as to how many people scored 70% or more, and it was what? 8. Okay, in the N line too, it was 8. The total enrollment in basic one was 25 for both the N line and the baseline. Then 74 in terms of percentage, 32%. That means 8 people representing 32%, okay, had scored more than 70%, right? In terms of percentages, then 8 peoples representing 32% also during the airline scored hard marks above was 70% or more. Deducing or deducting 32 from 100%, you get what? 68% for the number of students. It's obvious here. We take 8 from 25, that would be 17. About 17 can people scored or had marks 70 below 70%. For the baseline, the airline was 68%. So you can clearly tell there was no any increase, right? So you use the same, do the same analysis for the pictorial that will give us clear indication as to how well learners or pupils in each of the classes are faring. And you compare them based on gender, and you compare them based on their classes. Like I said, I wouldn't waste my time on databases. So you use the same procedure to do your analysis up to basic 6. You see that in basic 6, as I said, in the lower primary, basic 1 and basic 2, you have to mark the assessment um, uh, questions should be scored out of 20, right? In basic 3, you score the people's marks out of 25. However, in basic 4, 5, and 6, you score them out of 30. All right. So that's how come we have 30 over here. Is it 5? We have 30 over here. Is it 4? We have what? 30 over here. Look at the 3, 25. Please, if you don't do it in this way, if you don't do it this way, then we will have challenges. You will not be able to compute and get the correct um, analysis. Okay. So please, let's focus and ensure that we are able to score the performance of our learners based on um, the number of question items specified in each of the classes. Right. So I repeat, in basic 1 and 2, you score them the people's performance should be out of what 20. Then basic 3 out of 25, basic 4, 5, and 6 out of 30. Right. Let's see the total performance as far as the whole school is concerned. Right. So here, this is what you have to discuss with do your presentation with the General Assembly during your meetings. You deliberate upon it. So it gives us this page will give us statistics for sorry, this gives us the statistics for analysis in our during our General Assembly meeting, and it should form the basis for which the community, I mean the General Assembly, will provide support for the school. So here, this is average out of 100, and clearly you see that we have all the figures for basic 1 up to basic 6 for both the baseline and line. So you are able to know how many percentage of peoples, okay, had a score more 70 or more. and that is the information being provided here. Okay. Then you are also able to know the number of pupils who were placed in each of the level based on their achievement or their ability. So looking at it, you see that we have baseline for level 1. This is a summary for the whole school, right? So in doing the explanation, you should let the community members know that during the baseline assessment, about 45 of our learners were in level 1, and now it has reduced to 1. A significant what decrease in the margin. Okay, then so it goes on and on and on. You see that there has been a progress to the extent that in level 6, where there were only about 6 learners over here, right? Irrespective of the grade, now it has increased to 36. Level 5, 14 up to 33. Level 4, 21 to 32, right? So this has been a significant increase in the performance of the people. And the records as shown or depicted in the graph gives us um, a clear picture of the performance of the learners in terms of the baseline with color green and the end line with color brown. So you are able to tell the difference. For basic 1, during what the baseline, the performance, average performance 57.6, but now it is 62.6, right? During the end line assessment, indicating there had been what an improvement. So it goes on and on and on up to what basic 6. Now, um, improvement in the number of pupils by achievement level. Was there any improvement the number of pupils in each of the levels based on the achievement? Right. So this should indicate and gives us the indication to that effect. Um, right. Now, if you're able to key in um, the information correctly, here too, there's no need to alter anything here, right? After doing that, do not enter any figure here. Automatically, you have the information being pop out here. So here, to the analysis, this is the data you send to the district training officer. Okay, right. So but this here gives us information on baseline. Here gives us information regards to the end line. All right. So this is the baseline, and this is what the end line. Okay. So how do you explain it? Clearly, here give her the number of pupils in each of the class, then total expected score. It's expected that should all the pupils get all the answers correct, and that will mean that out of the 20 questions, it is multiplied by the number of people, which is 25. You should get 500. Here means that the expected score for each of the class for basic 1 should be was 500, basic 2 540, basic 3 775. It goes on and on up to basic 6. All right. But out of this is the actual total raw score after the inline assessment. Here, basic 1 was 288. So out of the 500 marks expected to be to that is the target, where this school was able to reach 288. That's adding all the total raw scores after the baseline assessment. So it goes on and on and on and on and on. All right. Then here, average out of 100, that is out of total. So you will see that here too we are able to find out how many of our learners, okay, got 70, scored 70% or less, sorry, or more. or 70%, less than 70%. And it is here number over here, then we have the percentage also over here, indicating that eight of the learners in basic one, okay, scored 70% or more, and in percentage terms is what, 32%. Now you do likewise for the airline assessment. Here too, the formation here gives us clear indication of the performance of learner. So we send this particular data, okay, to the district training officer for onward submission. Not only him, but you send it to um, the federation for analysis, right? When that is done, you go to the records for national and district analysis. This is what you have here. In actual fact, this template you have for all the districts in the region. So before you can sort it out and get to your school, you just have to go to the district, okay? Then you select the district, all right? And in this case, we have a Tiwa E, so you select, right? Then here in this circuit, you select your circuit in which your school is, all right? Then let's say my school is Enyinam Methodist. Okay, so first of all, I select the district, and in this case, it is what Etiwa is. But you need to uncheck the select all, then look into the list, select Etiwa East. Okay, sorry. Then you select the circuit. Enyinam Methodist is in where? Enyinam circuit. Uncheck select all, select Enyinam. Okay. Then the list is sorted. You go to the schools, then you identify a school where it's a Yinam Methodist Primary, voila, it's here. So first of all, deselect all of them like this, then you select a Yinam what? Methodist, and a Yinam Methodist is here, primary. Good. So you see that we have a Yinam Methodist over here. Sure. Here, you supply information on baseline, but we have already supplied the information. So once that is done, you will get the figures that you submitted last time when you were asked to submit your baseline assessment. So this is the data for it. Then the airline, good. So with the airline, the number of peoples at the airline. So you refer to the summary results, and you get data for number of peoples for airline. This is P1 basic one. It is 25 over here, right? So you come back to the template and you put 25 here. P2, how many peoples? You go to there, you select it is what, 27. So you see that we have basic 1 up to 6. So you fill for all of them, basic 1 up to what, basic 6 here, right? So here, don't do anything in regards to the baseline here. Don't touch it. Here, the yellow column here, you continue. Here, it is also making a reference to a questionnaire, and that is about how many people had 70% at the end of the airline assessment. So you go to basic 1, you refer to your summary result. Basic 1 is here. 70%, how many? It is what? 8. So you go back to what? The records there, then you put in what? 8. Okay, you go to basic 2, and you see that we have what? 11. So we have 11 to 0. 11. So you indicate that 11 to 0, 11. Okay, then having done that, the basic says it is 1, just a single person. was able to score, had marks 70%. One. Okay, let me fill for the number of pupils at ENDLINE. P3, let me check. So in P3, number of pupils, okay, it's 31, 32, 26. 31, 32, 26. 31, 32, 26. Right. P6, I believe, was 15. Right. So you see that what is here have been sent to the Eastern data. Template. Here it is asking eh, you to write the number of what hours, number of the math remedial lessons conducted before online assessment. Okay, so you did the remedial lesson activities. So how many hours did you spend for the remedial lesson? Remember, each day we were supposed to use about an hour, then do about 60 lessons. So you indicate it if it is 40 hours, if it's 50, you write it here. Then answer this question with yes or no. Write one as yes and zero as no. Okay. All right. So did the school conduct the math remedial lesson during vacation? If yes, you write. If no, you write. But remember, you don't write yes or no. You place one for yes, zero for no. So place one here. Right. Did the school give math homework for vacation? If yes, you write one. If no, so in this case, okay, no. So that will be zero. How many, okay, how many community files the school have for math remedial lesson? If it is one, you write. If it is two, you write. So let's say I had no community file. Say how many JHS students supported the remedial lesson? Let's say two. Then how many teachers facilitated did the school have for math media? These are teachers who are employed and they are teaching the school, and their services was needed and therefore supported the media lesson. Let's say seven. Then starting date of math media lesson. When did you start your media lessons? You indicate. Date for online assessment, you indicate. Then here you write the number of people who have sent themselves from media lesson more than 6 days. Sorry, all schools were given attendance sheet to be used during media lesson. So you indicate that at the column here, right? Then remember, we move on to percentage of pupils who score over 70% at baseline. Here, there's no need to enter any what figure or number here. The system will automatically get them for you. Remember, 76, 58, 5, 15%, 5%, and it will be similar to what you have here during your baseline if all the information you key in was what was correct. All right. So at the red, remember this is baseline, so it has already been computed, and this is the end line. Okay, right? So when you are done with this, the information from here, 32 up to 21.2% should reflect um, here, 32 up to 6% percentage should be the same as what is here. Okay, all right. Supposing the information you provide here, you provide all of them. Here, I've not provided all of the information that's needed, so we will not be able to get because I have to enter all the information to make sure they are accurate. Then things will go on as expected. So on this note, I want to thank you very much for your patience and understanding. Please watch this video, view it, subscribe, and share it with your colleagues for them to also get an understanding on how to do the correct entry recording analysis of results during the General Assembly meeting. Thank you very much.